Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going solo today. My kids needed a break, and so I'm going to do the class entirely by myself. I'm going to demonstrate some things. We're going to go through a number of things just in detail. Our blocking techniques, our kicking techniques, and we're going to hit the 3-step sparring to kind of finish out. So as we do this, just make sure you give yourself enough room, be comfortable. If you have any questions, once again, go ahead and send me an email or send me a text and let me know. So from here, face me, Chit. And Kyungnan. Good. Turn and face your parents. Chit. And Kyungnan. Alright, let's warm it up. Hands and hips. Let's rotate the neck side to side. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Up and down. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Rotate those hips. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Other way. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Feet together now, hands on your knees. Rotate your knees. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. Other way. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. It's time from here. Spread your feet 2 shoulders apart, face right, and then bend from your waist and try and touch your head to your leg. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And bring it up. To the other side, same thing, please. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And up. This time to the middle. Drop down. Try and touch your elbows to the floor. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And slowly back up. Good. Go ahead and have a seat. From here, legs open up as wide as you can. Turn to your left side. Reach over with your right hand and try and touch your toes. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And up to the other side. Same thing, please. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And up. This time to the middle. Try and touch your elbows and your forehead to the ground. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And this time for me, you're going to tuck your left leg in. Right? You're going to stretch over your right leg and stretch forward. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And up. Switch legs. So bring your right leg into your left leg and stretch forward over your left side. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And up. Good. This time to the middle now. Both legs straight out in front of you. Reach forward and try and touch your toes. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And relax. Bring the bottoms of the feet together now. Butterfly stretch. Push those knees all the way to the floor. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. And good. Go ahead and stand up. Turn around, fix your toe box. Shake out those legs, those arms. Come here, everyone. 준비! Come here. Step out with your left leg into horse riding stance, middle punch attack, and key up. Hiya! So make sure when you're in your horse riding stance, your feet width should be about 2 to 3 foot lengths wide. Okay? Make sure that those feet are pointed straight ahead. Your feet should be in straight lines from side to side. Okay? Bend those knees so that your weight is evenly distributed. When you punch, you want to punch from your hip out. Right? You also want to make sure that your wrist is straight. Right? We don't want those knuckles above our wrist or below our wrist. We want them straight. Okay? So that's the key when you throw those punches. Alright? So for your middle punches, by my count, ready? 둘, 아야, 셋, 아야, 넷, 아야, 셋, 아야, 셋, 아야, 일곱, 아야, 여덟, 아야, 아홉, 아야, 열, 아야. Keep in mind when you do your punches, try to hold this position as you come forward and the other hand is coming back to your waist. Hold it till the very last second and then twist. Alright, as you're bringing it forward, twist it at the very last second. What that'll do is that'll increase the speed of how fast your punch goes into the target, which gives you more power and more snap. So as you're punching and you have your full uniform on, you're going to feel that your uniform basically makes some noise as you're punching. Okay? More advanced students, the other thing you want to keep in mind is your reaction force. Remember that the theory of power has 5 elements, right? So when we talk about the theory of power, right, there is concentration, right? Meaning that we have to focus on our target, whatever we're trying to attack, okay? Second thing is equilibrium, right? That's our balance, right? We don't want to be off balance. If we are off balance, we usually miss our target or we don't maximize our power potential, okay? Right? Third thing is breath control, right? So we want to make sure that we're breathing. We're also key-upping into those punches, right? It's just like whenever you've gotten mad and you start yelling, you feel stronger. And it's the same kind of concept with our key-ups, is that as we punch and key up, that gives us a little more oomph into those punches. All right? Next one is what we call reaction force. So the reaction force is basically as you bring the hand in to your waist, the other hand comes forward. All right? What you're doing is you're channeling energy from this hand in and around your shoulder into the punch. So what you want to do is you want to pull back as you punch. Pull back as you punch. That's going to give you a little bit extra power into that technique. All right? And the final thing is speed, right? Meaning that we want to accelerate into the target, okay? It's not about punching fast. It's about accelerating into the target, meaning that you bring it forward, and to get that acceleration, you get that twist at the very end of your punch. Finish it out. That's going to give you that extra power, that extra oomph, right? So think about those 5 elements as we talk about the things that we do today. All right? So in those punching techniques, right? You're pulling and you're punching at the same time. You're breathing, you're key-upping, right? You're balanced, okay? Doing things quickly. All right. Come on. Come back to your jumping position. All right. So now from here, let's talk a little bit. Let's go into our fighting stance. So right leg steps back, fighting stance, and key up. Hi-ya! All right. So first thing here, we're in our guarding block, right? Our guarding block. So from a side view, that guarding block, what it should look like is this. Your right hand, okay, should be at your chest. The wrist line of your right hand, right, should be in the same line as your chest right now. Okay, so we don't want it too far forward. We don't want it too far back. We want it right at the center of our chest line here. All right? And the other thing too is we want this to be straight. We don't want it tilted up or tilted down. Just straight. Okay? Almost like thinking about holding a baby in your arms here. Okay? The other hand is a forearm block out to the front. You want to make sure that the wrist is turned here so that the fingernails are facing the direction that you're in your guard. Okay? Your fighting stance. Okay? What that happens when we do that is that the elbow turns outward. Okay? So we're not trying to turn all the way out. Right? We just want to keep the elbow low and that guard out in front. Okay? So we don't want to be halfway. We actually want to be in front. Okay? So this motion here for your fighting stance position or your guarding block here. All right. So let's start with that basic front kick. So today, you don't have to worry about moving forward or backward. All we're going to do is kind of kick in place. All right. So what we're going to do is you're going to the first thing you're going to do is you're going to bring that knee straight up. All right. Now, a couple things you can do. If you're a person that's extremely limber, very flexible, then you're going to want to pivot. All right? If you're a little bit stiffer, you're younger, then what you want to do is all you want to do from here is just bring that knee straight up with no pivot. Okay? When we pivot, you're going to turn that front foot about 90 degrees. Okay? So 90 degrees here. Right? Now, make sure that the knee stays straight up in front of you. Okay? Make sure that the heel is pulled back towards your hindquarters in this motion here. Okay? Now from here, when you kick, all you're doing is you're keeping your knee still. All you're going to do is just bring the heel forward toward the target. 1. And then back. Okay? So from a side view, what happens here is that I come up, right? I get my knee in that position where it needs to be. Then I extend it out. And I pull it back in. Okay? And then place it down. From a foot position standpoint, what you want to do is you want to think about kind of being on your tippy toes. Right? Wearing mom's high heels. Right? So when you're in your stance, right? If you have a hard time kind of curling your toes back and straightening out your ankle, maybe your kick looks like this. Right? Or it looks like this with toes curled down. Okay? Then what I suggest that you do is you put your back leg up, right? Meaning that you're going to lift your heel up and kind of push down with the ball of your foot. Okay? You're going to be in this position here. And then what you're going to do from here is you're going to bring that knee up, right? Without moving the ankle. Keep the ankle straight. Just bring that knee up like this. And as you can see, my ankle is pointed down. It's the same way that it was when it was on the ground. All I did was just lift my knee. And then I extend out. Okay? It's important to get this front kick position down correctly. And the reason why I say that is because once you're a senior green belt, your breaking technique is that front kick. And if you don't do the front kick correctly, right? If you're kicking front kick with your toes pulled back, right? Remember, we're making contact with the ball of our foot, right? So that front kick is being made with that ball of that foot, right? If we're doing it with the ball of the foot and our toes are pulled back, what happens is that it pulls back on the top part of our foot, which means that it's going to pull this important tendon. It's called our Achilles tendon, right? If you pull and you snap your Achilles tendon, right, you're not going to be walking for about 6 months, unfortunately, right? What happens in that type of an injury is that if it snaps, your calf kind of rolls up into the back of your knee. And then the rest of the tendon rolls to underneath your foot, right? And so it's a very painful, requires surgery to recover from, and it keeps you off of your feet for almost 6 months, 6 to 8 months. So you want to make sure that you protect that Achilles tendon, right? Especially the older that we get. For the kids and so forth, it's not as critical, right? Because they have a lot of elasticity in their joints and so forth. But as we get older, our older population out there, when you're doing your techniques, you need to make sure that you are protecting that Achilles tendon. And the way we do that is imagining that you're wearing the wife's high heels, lifting that heel up off the ground. Okay? So what we're going to do is I want you to practice slowly. So when I count, all you're going to do is just practice slow. The other thing too is you don't have to kick high by any means. If you want to kick low, that's fine. The key is to make sure that your knee does not move. Once you lift your knee up, right, your knee is going to stay there. All you're doing is just bringing the heel forward. 1, 2. Right? Once again, I'm kicking low. Right? Low for balance purposes. Right? Also, you know, for practicing. Right? In full speed, yes, you're going to kick high, and that's okay. Right? But for practicing purposes, you're just going to kick low. 1 and 2. Then place it down. Okay? Or for our purposes today, you'll kick 1, 2, and then you'll pull it right back. Okay? So it's important. We don't want to drop that knee. Right? We don't want to do this. Okay? I want you to kick, pull it back, keep that knee in that same position, then you bring it back down. All right? So let's do a few of these by count. Okay? From here. Hana! Good. Good. All right. Set. Net. Set. All right, switch your feet. Parbako. Aya! All right. Once again, get into that good back stance or good fighting stance. Remember that the depth of your stance on that back stance or fighting stance is 3 foot lengths. So 1, 2, 3 foot lengths. All right. Your feet should look like the letter L. Okay. Once again, now the left hand, that wrist should be in line with your chest, and then the right hand is out in front in the guard. Okay. Fist height here should be about shoulder height, not up too high. If it's up here, then your line of vision is impaired because of the fist. You want to bring it down so you can see over that fist. Okay. All right, let's do a few front kicks on that left side now. Ready? Hana! Good. Set. Remember, ankle straight, toes curl back. Net. Set. All right, good. Okay, from here, go, switch. Hiya! So now, let's work a little bit on the roundhouse kick. So the roundhouse kick is what I like to call a turning front kick. Meaning that your kick comes out the same way that a front kick does. The only difference is that when we do a front kick, our knee is pointed straight up when we lift. When we do a roundhouse kick, it's actually turned to the side. The knee is going to be pointed to the side. All right? So, in the nature of the name of the kick, roundhouse kick, all right? I want you to imagine that you have a dollhouse, right? You're standing right next to a dollhouse. All right? And what you're doing here is that you want to go around the house. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick up your knee. And as you pick up your knee, you're going to start your pivot with that front foot. You're going to turn. Okay? And as you do that, right, you pick up your knee, your heel should come back towards your hindquarters again, all right? So I'm going to come up, and as you notice on the video here, you're going to see my knee come around to the front here. Okay? And as I do that, I'm pivoting. Okay? What I want to see from all of our students is to make sure that when you pivot a minimum of 90 degrees, a minimum of halfway. Okay? If you pivot less than that, your roundhouse kick isn't going to look like a roundhouse kick. It's going to look more like an angled front kick. All right? So what we're trying to do is we want it to be a turning front kick. So we want to turn our body, bring the shoulder around, okay? So in order for our shoulder to come to the front, we have to pivot at least 90 degrees, right? If you can pivot more, then you're going to increase more centripetal force or circular force into the kick. So if we can get to, let's say, not 90, but like about 135 degrees, all right? Then we're going to have a little bit more force coming into that roundhouse kick, all right? Or if you can get all the way to the 180 position, then you can get a really good kick. Now, it's important here, depending on how much you pivot is going to depend on when you snap your kick out. Okay, and what I mean by this is basically if you pivot and you go 90 degrees, right, your knee comes to the front here, right, then you can straighten it out and kick pretty much in the front, straight line. Okay, now, if you pivot more than 90 degrees and you do the same thing, what's going to happen here now is this. You see how my knee is way over here to the side? Now when I extend, you see how I've gone past my target line. Right? So the more you pivot, the earlier you have to snap your knee out. You can't wait to snap out the knee. Right? So we don't want to hold this position until when we finish pivoting to kick, because then we miss our target line. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we pivot and extend out our kick as we finish up our pivot. All right? Once again, remember how I said the roundhouse kick is a turning front kick. So we have to go back to what the front kick looked like. Right? We have to follow all of that. So we want to make sure that knee is bent. Right? The heel is pulled back toward our hindquarters. The foot position, right? Like you're tippy-toeing. Right? So when you do that, right, that knee comes around. Now when we turned, our knee is sideways, remember? Not up, but sideways. And then you extend out. And you pull back the same way, right? Just like with front kick, right? You came up, and then you pulled it straight back. Roundhouse kick is the same thing. You turn, you kick, and you pull back. And you see how my knee didn't drop. Okay, what I see a lot of times is this. Either you kick and you drop, right? Or you kick, and then as you're pulling the heel back towards your hindquarters, you drop the knee, right? And when that happens, you tend to lose your balance. And so it's important that you keep that knee up, kick, bend, then you place it down, right? Works on your core, right? You have to keep those muscles tight to keep that knee up. All right? So it takes a lot of practice. There's a lot of muscles and a lot of things are working on your body to throw this kick properly. All right? What you want to do as well is when you're pivoting, go up onto the ball of your foot, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Go up onto the ball of your foot and turn. All right? And the reason for that is because we want to minimize the friction area. If your foot is flat on the floor and you try to pivot, right, on the entire flat of your foot, right, you can do it, right? If you have knee problems or hip problems, it's probably going to hurt. You're going to probably feel some pain, right? If you're heavier, you're going to feel some pain because there's a lot of friction when you're completely flat-footed, right? So if we can pivot on the ball of our foot, right? The ball of the foot is that part that's right underneath the big toe, all right? If we can get up there and kind of pivot our weight there, right? We minimize that friction from this whole thing to something just like this, about the size of a quarter to 50-cent piece, right? And when we spin on that, our spin comes around quicker, right? Our spin comes around lighter. Because why? We're kind of pushing up off onto the ball of our foot, right? We're pushing up and we're lifting our shoulders up, raising the kick up so that we can kick faster. Once again, remember we talked about the theory of power, right? Speed. We want the kick to be fast. That's what's going to create the power, right? Doesn't mean that your legs have to be extremely muscular. Yes, if they are extremely muscular, if you are heavier set, yes, you have a lot of power. But your power is based off of mass, right? For those of you who are smaller in stature, who are lighter, right? We can develop that same power, but we have to increase our technique. We have to increase our speed. It requires us to be more precise, but we can generate the same amount of power as someone who is bigger, who's physically stronger, right? And so that's important as we're practicing, is to think about, okay, let's try to do this correctly. And for those that are bigger in stature, if you're doing the technique correctly, right, you're going to have the most powerful kick that's going to be out there, right? And you're going to be balanced. You're not going to be losing your, you're not going to be falling over and those types of things, right? So that's the key as we're practicing. All right, so let's try a few roundhouse kicks. All right, so bring that knee around. Ready? Hana! All right, and then try to come back the same way. That's the hard one, right? If we're kicking in place, you want to kick, and then you want to try to bring it back the same way. Requires a lot of hip flexor strength and core strength. All right, ready? Good. Okay, now if your hands are moving out, right, that means that you got to work on your balance a little bit. You got to develop a little bit more core strength. You got to do more sit-ups. Okay, ready, set. Net. And a set. All right, switch your feet. Power go. Aya! Let's try the same thing. So once again, bring your knee up and around the dollhouse that's right next to your front leg. Ready? Hana! Good. Set. Don't hold your breath. Once again, you want to breathe. Then, aya! Key up is a good way to breathe. Set. All right, good. Switch your feet. Go. Aya! Let's do one more kick. So the next one is the side kick. All right, for yellow belts enough, side kicks. So when we do that side kick, once again, we have to pivot just like we did the roundhouse kick. Now, keep in mind the roundhouse kick was a circular kick, right? We brought it around in a circular motion, right? Centripetal force, circular force to generate the power, okay? Front kicks, axe kicks, side kicks are linear kicks or straight kicks. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to move our energy straight forward instead of swinging it around. All right? When we do our side kick, a couple of things that you need to pay attention to. All right? So when you're in your normal chumbi position, you see how your feet are bent already. Okay? What you want to do is you want to keep that foot in this exact same position. Alright? So what I mean by that is that when you lift, what I see a lot of times when people lift, right? You see how when I lifted this time, my toes kind of dropped. Okay? Right? If I don't straighten out my ankle or concentrate on kind of lifting my toes up, right? My ankle gets loose. Okay? And this is a technique what I like to call noodle foot. Right? What happens is a lot of times here, when people kick with this loose foot, if you notice when I kicked out, my foot kind of waved at you, right? Right? It's a noodle foot. It doesn't have any strength. It doesn't have any foundation, right? And if you hit something hard with a noodle foot, right, you're going to injure yourself, right? When you get to that red belt level, all the students who get to red belt level, guess what? Right? Regardless of whether you're a youngster or you're an adult, right? You have to break with a side kick on both sides, or excuse me, not red belt, right? For the senior blue belts and above, right? You have to break, side kick is your breaking technique, right? And so, and it's not a steppy up side kick, it's not a front leg side kick, it's a back leg traditional side kick, all right? And if you don't do this technique correctly, then you're not going to have enough force to get through that board. All right? So here's a couple of tricks. All right? I'm going to show you from the side view, right? When I lift my foot, okay? When I lift my foot or my knee, I'm going to also raise up my toes, right? So in essence, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to imagine, right? The floor is now this high, and I'm just trying to step onto it. Right? It's like a step. Okay? So I don't want my toes to be dangling down. I actually want them up. Okay? Now as you notice from here, okay? If my left leg was all the way in the back here and I bring my left leg forward, right? I want to be like this. Okay? I want to be pivoted 90 degrees. Right? Halfway to my target. All right, I want my knee to be pointed to that 90-degree area here. Okay, my hands are up here. All right. Okay. Oh, let's switch legs. So, so from here, let me demonstrate with the right leg. Okay. So from here, right, from our front view, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my right knee straight up. Okay. What I want to do is I want to get my knee from here, to the side here. Right. I want to be looking this way first, okay? So when I do this, right, I want to get here. Okay, you see how my knee is here, right? I'm not doing a roundhouse kick where I bring it around and then pull it back. That's not what I want to do. I just want to bring it straight to here. One, okay? So as you see, what I'm doing is I'm trying to pick my knee up toward my left shoulder. My right knee up toward my left shoulder. You see it? Right? And as I do that, one. And you see how I get this half pivot now. Now my body's opened up to the left side here. Right? My toes are up. My heel is up. My knee is up. And I'm ready to throw the side kick. Okay? So now from here, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pivot another 90 degrees. So now here I want to turn my hip, or my hip and my heel. As you notice, my bottom foot now is facing you guys. Okay? And what that does is when I do that movement, my heel comes up. You see how my heel comes up? Right? Now from here, what I'm going to do, from here when I get my heel up, is I want to push it now. I want to push it towards you. Okay? Alright? So from here, what happens is that we're not doing this in like two separate movements. The flow of it is from here. Once you're up here, as you're pivoting, you start to push. And you get that, you snap it out. Okay? Boom. And you pull it back in. All right? So the key, as we're doing this, and I'm going to have to do this from a side view for you guys. Right? First thing I did was I pulled my knee up. From the back straight to the side, right? So it's going to actually face you, like I'm going to do a front kick, right? Here. But I'm going to kick this way. Now from here, if you notice my bottom foot, my left foot here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot, and you see how my right heel came up, and my knee kind of tilted, okay? Right? So that motion there should tell you I should start pushing. You see it? Here. Then I want to pull it back in. And you see how my knee came back toward my body. Okay? I don't want to see this. Right? This is incorrect. Right? You want to move that knee forward into the target, and then you also want to pull it back. Right? So from here, you extend out. Right? One, and then you pull it back in. Don't repivot though. Because when you repivot, then you lose your balance. Okay? So from here, once you pivot out, just one, pull it back in. Okay? And then you'll drop it down. Right? Typically, we'll drop it down in front. For today's purposes, once you get back here, then you're going to re-pivot all the way around and back to the initial starting spot. Okay, it's a lot of information, I know, all right? Keep in mind these things, all right? You need to pivot your foot. We want to make sure that we lift the toes of our kicking foot, okay? Lift the toes of our kicking foot so that our heel and the blade of our foot is making contact, right? And we want to push our knee forward and pull it back, all right? Those are the key things that you want to remember when we do the side kick. All right, so let's throw a few of these. Once again, don't worry about kicking high, all right? Kick at a comfortable level, waist level or even knee level, all right? So from here, ready, hana, lift, push, all right? And then pull it back. Good. Okay, you should be looking over your shoulder, right? They call this side kick because our body is turned completely sideways. Ready, set. Net. Set. Okay, switching feet. Parabako. Aya. Again, same thing. Hana. Doi. Set. Net. One more. Set. Come on. Show. Relax. Good. Catch your breath. All right. So these are some things that you can do. Once again, you don't have to do a lot, right? But you can incorporate this into your training at home. You know, pick one of the kicks. You don't have to do all of these at one time. Pick one kick. Spend about 10 to 15 minutes working on that technique. If you need to, use props, right? Use the back of a couch, a chair. Something to help you with your balance if you're having a hard time, right? For those of you who have multiple people in the house that train, right, help each other out. One person is the holder, right? Help the other person keep balance while the other person kicks, right? So those types of things will help you guys in your process, all right? All right, so I want to take a moment to kind of go through the basic blocks, the down block, the rising block, the knife hand block, and the outside in block real quick. And then we're going to do 3 sparring to kind of finish up. All right, so from here, let's start with that down block position. So from here, everyone, 준비. All right, what we're going to do is you're going to step with your left leg out into a horse riding stance, right? We're going to do blocking set number 1 to practice these blocks, right? So what we're going to do is you're going to step out with your left leg and straight out. No, actually, let's do it as blocking set number 2, right? And the reason for that is because this will help us from a pumse standpoint, all right? So it doesn't matter if you're a white belt at home practicing this, it's okay, right? So what we're going to do is you're going to step forward into a front stance with that left leg, all right? So as I move forward, what I'm going to do is my left foot is coming forward, so my left shoulder is going to come forward. As my left shoulder comes forward, I'm going to pull up my left fist so that it's up by my right shoulder. At the same time I do that, I'm going to bring my my right hand into my waist. So it's going to look like this to start. Think about hugging yourself, right? But it's going to be the fist with the pinky touching the shoulder, right? And then the thumb, your fist, right, at the belt at your waist. So this motion here to start, okay? So from here, when you step forward, 1, 2. All right, so now, from here, what you're going to do, remember how we talked about when we punched, right? You want to bring this down, you want to accelerate into it. Wait till the last second to pivot that wrist, right? So from here, you're going to wait till the last second to pivot that wrist, or rotate that wrist, I should say, right? So bring it down. And at the same time you do that, you're going to do the same thing here. At the last second, you'll twist and bring it to your hip, okay? When you finish, you want to make sure that your left down block is above your left leg, okay? We don't want it to stop here in front of the left leg or beyond the left leg, right? You want to bring it straight down. All right, so now from a side view, you see this angle, right, from my hip to my knee, right? That down block should mimic that angle. All right? Right? And the distance, think about a hand span. So if you spread out your hand like this, place your thumb on your knee, where the pinky is at the top, that's where your down block should be. So we don't want it down here really close to the leg. We don't want it up here like a punch. Right? It should be down. And this angle, this arm angle, and this thigh angle should be the exact same. All right? Does everyone got that? All right. So let's just try a couple. So from here, left foot forward. Ready? Hana! Down block. Okay. Now, when you step back, what you're going to do is, as you step back, you're going to bring your left hand now to the waist. All right? So you're pulling in. At the same time you pull in, your right hand now slides up to the shoulder. See, now we're in the opposite position. Here, 1. Okay? And then as I step forward with that right leg, my left shoulder, or excuse me, my right shoulder is going to come forward, and then I come down, 2. All right. Okay, let's step back. Cross your arms. 1. Step back. Cross your arms. 2. All right. So, relax. Come on. If you're not familiar with this or this feels awkward, what I encourage you to do is to practice the one side. Come back. 1. Come back. 1. Practice the same side over multiple times until it feels very comfortable. And then immediately go to the other side and keep practicing the other side the same way, multiple times. All right? Once you're very comfortable with that, then you alternate. 1, 2. All right? And use that to help you with those blocks, right? To help clean up those blocks. And then you can incorporate that into your Pumse training. All right? When you do your Kibon Irichan, your Tego Kirichan, Tego Gijan, right? Lots of Pumses have down blocks, so you get lots of practice with that down block. It should be great. All right? All right, so the next block that we'll do is we'll do the rising block or the high block. All right, so from here, your Chumi position, what we're going to do is we're going to step forward with that left leg again. Now, we're going to put those hands in that same position, right, as we did with the down block. The only difference here is the blocking hand, instead of being on the top, opposite shoulder, it's going to be on the bottom. Bottom, opposite hip. Okay? So, now, we did pinky on the top for down block. We're going to do pinky on the bottom for rising block. Okay? So, pinky on the bottom. And then on the top, right, we're going to do the thumb here, up on the shoulder. So, it's going to look like this, a reverse motion here. All right? And then as we step up, 1, you come up. And once again, you wait till the last second to rotate. Now, it's important here, okay? If you notice my wrist, okay? Sometimes this happens, right? When you're rotating, sometimes this happens, okay? When we over-rotate our wrist, right, we're doing the blocking correctly, right? So it should look just like a punch, right? It should be a flat, straight line, right? All you're doing is bending the elbow and then turning up. Okay? That's the ending position. So your fingernails should be facing the target. Okay? The other thing here on a rising block, your wrist line should be lined up with your nose, chest, belly button, belt. This lifeline is where that wrist should be lined up. The other thing here, we don't want that block to be above our head. Okay? We actually want it to be out in front. So once again, remember that handspan exercise where I told you to place it on the knee, right? It's the same thing here. Place the thumb on the forehead, right? This is what I like to call my four-horned unicorn, all right? So from here, you're going to be like this, and then your rising block is going to be where the pinky stops, okay? So from here, it's going to be like this. So as you notice, it's out in front of my body, right? Not above my head, right? So as you're looking straight ahead, if you use your peripheral vision, you should be able to see a little bit of that fist out in front of you. All right? And the final thing is to make sure that the wrist is higher than your elbow. So we don't want it flat. We want an angle. All right? Okay, so let's try a few of these. Okay, so ready, hana. So 1. Okay, now, this time when you transition to the other side, you're gonna just drop down, all right? So that left hand comes down as your left leg comes in, right hand comes across my body, you see? And then from here, I step forward and I come up, do it. All right? So then once again, as I step back, I drop down, I pull across, and then I go up. Set. All right, and then as I pull in, I drop down, pull across, and net. All right, come on. All right, so that's the rising block, right? Let's do one more, right? Real quick, and that'll be that knife hand block. So the knife hand block position is going to be centered around the rising block position. So when we step into our block, right? The blocking hand is going to be on the bottom again. This time, instead of fist, it's going to be open in the knife hand position. With the pinky, once again, pinky down at the belt, thumb fisted at the top. All right. Now, when you do this knife hand, you're going to step forward, and then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to keep your elbow low. You're just going to raise the wrist up. 1, and then you're going to pull across. 2. Okay. What I want you guys to think about is, imagine that you have a cloth in your hand and you're wiping the window, right? Or you're trying to close that window, but with an open hand. All right? So from here, what I'm going to do is, once again, I'm going to step forward, come down with the pinky on the bottom, thumb on top. I'm going to come up right here. Once I get it up to about my shoulder height, I'm going to pull across. 2. Okay? So when I finish, I want the palm of my hand facing my target, right? Which causes my elbow to come out, okay? I don't want to bend my wrist at all, okay? I actually want to keep everything straight, just like if I were punching, okay? So it should be straight here, okay? This angle should be anywhere between 90 to 120 degrees, right? If you got longer arms, right, then you can go a little bit more angle, right? If you got short arms, then you got to kind of keep it tight. You want to make sure that the palm of your knife hand is shoulder height. Here. Okay? And once again, you want to finish to basically the side of your body line. So we don't want to come all the way out here. We don't want to finish too early. Okay? So let's try a couple of knife hands. Right? Ready? Hana! Doi! Set! Net! Okay, come on. All right, so the outside in block now. Outside in block or the inner block. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to basically imagine that you're flexing your muscles, right? Okay, so imagine that you're pumping iron. Straight angles, right? So straight up and down, straight to the side. Okay, if you notice, basically my elbows are as high as my shoulders. Right? Okay. Now what you're going to do is, right, you're going to twist your wrists outward. Okay? So from here, normally when we're flexing, you have those, the fingernails pointed in towards your face. Okay? So here, you're going to actually turn them outward here. Okay? Now what we're going to do is, the blocking hand is doing this motion, whether it's your right hand or your left hand. The blocking hand is doing this. The other hand is going to be in a punching movement. Okay? So from here, when we do that outside in block, right, you're going to step here, and you see as I lift here to get to this point here, my other arm comes forward, like it's already punched. Okay? And then I'm going to pull this right hand back to my waist as I bring that left hand around. Okay? So from here, it's going to look like this. 1. All right? So once again, I'm going to try to pull back as far as I can. All right? With my fingernails pointed away from my face, I'm going to step forward, and as I land, I pull around. Okay? Once again, we want this straight like we're punching. Right? We want this angle to be preserved. Right? So you can see this 90-degree angle. We don't want it to go like this. We don't want it to flatten out. Here. We also want to make sure that fist is shoulder height. So 1, 2. Right? As you notice here, right, my fist ends up at my lifeline. The nose, chest, belly button, belt, right? Ends up here. Okay? But my elbow doesn't. Okay? It's not this. All right? When you do this, you see what happens to my body, my upper body? It moves. Right? It feels uncomfortable. It puts me in an awkward position. So you want to make sure that here you come to that comfortable position. Right? Right to here. Imagine if you were doing both of them together. Okay? Right? It's not this. It's actually this. Okay? So the elbows aren't on the same line as the wrists and the fist. Right? Here. Here. Right? Think about if you're, if you're a marching band. Right? The cymbal player. Right? The cymbal player is going to crash those cymbals this way. Alright? And that's what we're doing. Crashing those cymbals, those imaginary cymbals to the front. Alright? So let's try a few of these outside in blocks. Ready? Hana! Dul! So as I step back, I just lift that hand from my waist up and then just straighten out this arm here. To the front and then good. Sit! Net! Come on! Alright, show, relax. Catch your breath real quick. So that gives you some of the detail on those basic blocks. Right? So let's go ahead and let's take a little bit of time as we finish up 3-step sparring. Alright, so you are the attacker, right? You're going to step back with your right leg into fighting stance and you're going to step forward with that right hand and you're going to do a punch. Alright? So when they punch, for number 1, 3-step sparring, the block is a palm block. So we're going to step back with the right leg into a back stance. So you're going to sit back into that back stance, right leg back into a back stance. With that left hand, you're going to do a palm block. Right? So we're using the palm of our hand and we're pushing. If you notice on the palm block, my wrist is bent, and that's what you want. We don't want to try to keep that wrist straight like a knife hand. We actually want to bend it. Okay? 1. Almost like you're trying to slap that palm out of the way. 1. You should be blocking the fist. Okay? So palm block 1. Right? They're going to punch again. You step back. And you see how this palm block motion is kind of like that outside in block motion. It comes out and you block. Once again, moving in a straight line. That's the key. Move straight back. Okay? All right, now from here, number 3, or the third movement in 3-step sparring number 1, we're going to jump and do our counter attack. So as they punch, I'm going to jump and turn to my left side. All right? So from here, when they punch, I'm going to jump and turn. 1. I'm going to block with my left hand. And I'm going to block the back of the elbow to push that arm out of the way. And what's going to happen is that their body is right here in front of me. And then from here, I'm going to do 2 punches to that side or the kidney area. All right? You can say apex or you can just key up on that punch. That's fine. Okay? But the key here is to make sure that when you make that jump across, right, you're going to jump out about maybe a horse riding stance width to the side. So from here, when you jump and turn, you see how I came off of that line. And I'm in a horse riding stance here. That way, when I do my palm block is not out in front or out here. It's actually straight in front of me. Okay? And then I can do my double punch. All right? And then you come back to the jumping position. Okay? So that's number 1. Remember, it's a palm block. Right? You're going from back stance into the final movement, which is a horse riding stance. All right. So from here, number 2. Right? When the right hand is punching, number 2, you're going to step back with the left leg into a back stance, right? And we're going to do that knife hand block. All right? Remember, keep the elbow low, 1, come across. When you do that block, you're going to block on the inside of that wrist. Okay, right at that wrist. 1, push it out to the side. Okay? Right? Now, from here, you're going to step straight back. Another back stance. 2, block. Knife hand block. All right. This time from here, when you jump, right, you're just going to jump to your left side. So from here, without doing anything different, all you're going to do is jump back about a a chumbi stance width. Okay, so short. And as you do that, as you jump back, you're going to transition into a horse riding stance. Okay? And then from here, you're going to do a double knife hand chop. All right? So when we do this movement here, what you're going to do is as you jump, you're going to bring your hands up by your right ear. Or excuse me, your left ear. Okay? So 1, 2. What happens here is your right hand is blocking the opponent's wrist. At the same time, you're striking the neck of your opponent. So you're coming and striking the neck at the same time. In the horse riding stance position, you can key out. Okay? All right. So number 1 is palm block. Number 2 is knife hand block. Now number 3. All right. So when they punch for number 3, it's an inside out block. Okay. So an inside out block basically is stepping back with the right leg. With the left hand, you're going to come down and around. Right. 1, 2. Right. So what we're doing here is you're looking at your fingernails. So you're not turning it out like a fighting stance position or a guarding block. Right. You're going to come down underneath and then you're going to come across. Okay. So here. And when you do that, you're going to block on the outside of the wrist. Okay. So as they're punching, you're going to come around and then you'll block to the side on the outside of that wrist of the punch. Okay. All right. And then as from here, once again, you're in back stance. Move straight back. Bring that that right hand down, and 2. Come down and around and across. Okay? Now from here, the third punch, when they punch, what you're going to do is you're going to step to the side. Step straight out into a horse riding stance. This causes the dodge, right? You avoid the punch. Okay? You're in a horse riding stance position. Slide the left leg in, and at the same time, your right hand is going to clasp your left fist, okay, like this. So left hand is going to be fisted, okay? And then from here, your left foot's going to step forward into a front stance, and at the same time, you're going to bring that left elbow forward. And what should happen is that elbow strike is going to come right up underneath the armpit into the rib cage, okay? So number 3 has 3 steps on that final movement. You're going to step across to dodge, and make sure you step straight across. Don't step back too much. Right? And don't step forward too much because remember, they're punching towards you. So you have to get them to miss, then bring that foot in and then slide it forward and at the same time do your elbow strike. Okay? All right. So number 1, palm block. Number 2 is knife hand block. Number 3 is inside out block. All right. Number 4 is outside in block. Right? 4 is the only one that we actually step toward our opponent first. It's counterintuitive, right? Someone's punching at me, I want to scoot back, all right? In this particular instance, we want to train you. Sometimes maybe you can't move backward, right? You have to move forward, all right? So what we're going to do now from here, as they punch, you're going to step in with your left leg into a horse riding stance. At the same time, left hand, outside in block, okay? Now make sure that outside in block, right, like your blocking set number 1, that fist is right out in front. So 1. Okay? Now from here, move straight back. This is key. Right? You want to move straight back into another horse riding stance. We don't want to be too short because then you're offline. So you want to make sure you go back straight here. Right? And then your right hand, outside in block. And once again, that punch should basically be right here. You're blocking right in that forearm to wrist area. So it's going to look like this. All right? And then from here, your right leg steps back behind you. Right? Left, outside in block here. Okay? So once you're here now, right, their punch is right here. Okay? So their punch is right here. You're blocking right here. From here, all you're going to do now is you're going to do a jab elbow. Okay? You're going to jab that elbow right into the solar plexus area, which is our target when we do the middle punch. Right? So the solar plexus 1, and then you're going to flip up into a back fist strike. Okay, so this is here. When we flip up, this back fist should go right to the nose or the philtrum level, the mouth level. So 1, 2. All right, and it'll be a quick key up there. Come back to the chewing position. All right, so number 1, palm block. Number 2, knife hand block. Number 3, inside out block. Number 4, outside in block. Right, number 5. Right, 5's the easiest one of them all. Right, 5's the only one that has a front stance. So we're going to step back with our left leg into a front stance position. And then with the right hand, we're going to do a rising block or a high block. All right, remember how we chambered that, right? Thumb on top, pinky on the bottom. Lift it up, right? And then as they punch, you step back. Okay? Make sure that you're blocking right here. Typically when we do a rising block, the punches are going to be a little bit higher than midsection, right? We're going to use that rising block when people are punching you at face level, right? Typically, if they're punching you at chest level, we would do a different block. We would probably maybe do an outside-in block or an inside-out block, knife-hand block, right? Rising blocks are typically used for people who are punching you face level or doing some sort of a downward type of strike, right? Like a hammer fist or something. So here, all right? So now that third rising block, you step back, front stance. Rising block, right? So that punch is right here. And all you have to do is just pivot and middle punch to the chest and key up. Okay? So as you're working and doing these, you want to make sure that you're close enough, right? A lot of times what happens is that when the people who are punching, one, they're not in a good stance, right? They're in a walking stance or, you know, something that's not a front stance, right? And what we want them to do is slowly punch into your space. So as they punch, we don't want them to stop here, right? We actually want them to come into your space. That way when you move back, right, you avoid that punch. Okay? All right. So that was number 5, right? Last one, number 6. So number 6, similar to number 3, right? We're going to step back with the right leg. We're going to block with the left hand. So this time from here, we're going to step back with the right leg. We're going to do a knife hand block. Okay, so when you do that knife hand block, just like number 3 with the inside out block, you're blocking on the outside of the punch, right? On the outside with the knife hand, okay? So it's a knife hand block 1. Once again, move straight back, second block, good. So left leg goes back, right knife hand block, okay? Third one, you're gonna step back, right? So you step back one additional time, set, you block. Now you rotate your wrist. You rotate that left wrist so you can grab. Okay? And then from here, you're going to step back with that left leg. 1, 2. And then you're going to throw a front kick and key up. Okay? All right? So from here, once again, all right? I'm sorry. I mixed up the feet. So from here, number 6, once again, all right? You're going to step back with your left leg first. All right? Right knife hand. And then step back, right, with the right foot, left knife hand, okay? And then one more time, step back, and you're going to block, okay? So now, from here, when you block with that right hand, you're going to turn that wrist and grab, okay? Then you're going to jump with your left foot first. You're going to jump behind your opponent. So the left foot kind of hops forward, and then you see my right leg is kind of up in the air, right? I'm going to pivot, and I am going to land in a front stance while I'm holding onto their arm. So now my opponent's in front of me right here. Okay, and at the same time, I'm going to do a front kick with that left leg. All right, and I'm going to key up. Okay, so once again, the key here is to make sure, right, first thing you do is you step back and create space. All right, so step back with that left leg, block with that right hand, step back, block with that left hand. Right, step back, block. Right hand grabs, left leg starts the movement first. So left foot jumps, front down, and then right foot follows here. And then right foot front kick to the tailbone and key up. All right, so quick little overview once again. Number 1, right, make sure your right leg goes back first. This is for right hand punching, right? Number 1, right leg goes back into that back stance palm block. Right? Number 2, right leg goes back stance knife hand block. Number 3, left leg goes back. Right hand inside out block. Number 4, right leg steps forward into horse riding stance outside in block. Number 5, right leg steps back into rising block. Right? And number 6, right leg steps back, right, left leg steps back, right knife hand block. All right. Always want to remember that we do not, in our three-step sparrings, we always block with the leg that's closest to our opponent. Okay, so if your right leg is in front, your right hand will block, whatever that block is. If your left leg is closer to the opponent, that left hand will block. Okay, we're not going to do a left hand right or left leg right hand or right hand left leg technique. All right, so keep that in mind for the three-step sparring. Once again, if you have any questions, let me know. I know that this session went a little bit longer than normal, but I wanted to get you this information so that you can use it. Break the session up as you need to, and go ahead and give me some information if you need anything else in particular. Once again, I hope that you and your families are safe. I certainly miss seeing you guys in class, and I look forward to the opportunity once we can kind of get back to a sense of normalcy and I can reopen up the Dojang, have you guys back in class. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. So stay safe and strong at home. Enjoy the company of each other. Make sure you give yourself enough time and space. Respect each other's personal space during this time. And once again, make the most of it. So be good to one another, especially youngsters, right? Make sure you're doing your chores and keep up with your studies and so forth. And we will see you soon. All right, take care. God bless.